Welcome back to the channel. We got Islam is Violent, Steven Crowder. Smash that like button and get subscribed. We're in for a good one today. I've seen some related footage to the times these events were filmed, and a lot of this is pretty interesting to watch unfold, and it's a message for our future.
And you marry 4 or 5 women, and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled from. We don't want you here. Respectfully, get the f*** out of my country.
Yeah.
I know some people have disagreements with that guy. I don't know, there's some controversy surrounding him, but I don't have a problem with what he just said there. I will say this is still one, if people forget about this, it's one of the greatest threats to Western civilization. And it'd be pretty hard to argue against that if you look at history as well. So we've had a gap throughout recent human history that's actually relatively short as far as dealing with Islamic encroachment, empire building. You can just go back to the Crusades, and now a lot of people are going like, yeah, I guess it's not a threat. Still is.
Actually, it is.
And it's a threat by design, just to be clear. And you are seeing new talking points from the left, or I should say recycled talking points. What's worrisome is that you are seeing some people allegedly on the right echoing these talking points. Let me disabuse you of that notion. You are going to hear that Islam is a peaceful religion.
It is not.
It is not. It's not.
That is very, very false.
Not a problem. It absolutely is. Or that the founding fathers.
Yeah, Sharia law is a problem unless you like having women covered from head to toe except for their eyes. Unless you like women not being allowed to go to school, work, or be in public without being escorted by a man. If you like not having bars around to go have a drink with your buddies out in public. If you like not having extra rights and freedoms. If you like having the call to prayer blasted at 5 times a day, including 5:30 in the morning or 5 a.m., whatever it is that they're blasting it at. It's one of those two. It's been a minute since I had this topic, but it is absolutely insane. The people who are like, oh yeah, just join Islam. And to those who were born into it, you guys, I understand a slight amount more, to where you have to break free from everything you've grown up learning. But to those who learned, Christianity growing up, or learned no religion in your family, when you see Islam and you're like, oh yeah, they told me it was a religion of peace, I challenge you, every single one of you, go read the Quran. Go read it and tell me what you think of Islam after you're done reading.
We're actually influenced by Islam, and they were welcoming of Islam. You are going to hear all these talking points from the left and some of those on the right. None of it is true. And there is a proactive approach to changing. And just like some people say demographics are destiny. Mm-hmm. Islam is the only contingency of people that actually have a plan to change the demographics of their host countries through birth rates. So I'm always a little bit leery when someone talks about demographics in the United States and says, yeah, but it's propaganda that Islam isn't a problem. When you think of the United States, you probably think baseball, apple pie, also sirens blaring at dawn to call you down to your local mosque.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, that shouldn't be in the middle of Times Square.
You can't heckle the call to prayer.
I am Muslim.
Boo.
Boo. I am a democratic socialist.
Double boo.
Welcome to the future of living. Welcome to Epic City. Nope. It's a way of life. A meticulously designed community that brings Islam to the forefront.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia.
You shouldn't be chanting other countries' names in America, especially if you are trying to run for any position of office. In fact, doing this should immediately get you all chances to take that office. It should immediately get that removed. You should be America first, America only if you are running for any position of office across this country, from the president all the way down to frickin' city legislators and school boards. everybody, all the way down, you should be for America first, Americans first, America only.
Hiran State.
A
The
share
mayor
podium?
presented Maulana Hazar Imam with the key to the city of Houston. The mayor will be the chief guest at the opening ceremony of the Ismaili Center in Houston.
This store that you manage here, and by you being Muslim, it has haram products here. It has pork, alcohol, and gambling, which is against Islam.
I should put that on
Yeah,
the plate.
can't go gamble or-
The call to prayer. We are
And have
Americans,
pork
anyone
anymore.
else.
No pork, no bacon.
Also, the problem is the entitlement. This is haram here. You should put that up next to your health code rating as a sticker, just like, we are haram.
I don't know about bifocals, but they might be haram.
Yes, they might. I have no idea. I assume they are. Islam is growing so quickly in the United States, actually, that experts predict next year's Super Bowl will be between the Pittsburgh Prophets and the Jacksonville Jihadis. And that's with the halftime show from the red hot Mujahideen Peppers.
That's great.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
It's Islamification.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sorry,
Sometimes
silly.
I feel like my only friend.
So yeah, if you saw me looking off to the side, kind of half distracted and everything, that was me looking up a couple facts here. And the one I like is with the percent of Christians who have claimed to or have in their life read the entire Bible cover to cover and can give an understanding of it, it's about 45 to 60% of all Christians globally. That doesn't seem like a very high number until you realize the amount of Muslims that have read the Quran and understand it is about 9.5%. 9.5%, not even 1/10 of your population has read and understands the words that are being preached and spoken and trying to transform the Western world with. They don't even understand what they're preaching. They just are following a group.
Is the prophet
That's what I'm saying.
Muhammad? Better not draw him.
We laugh because it's scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Laugh
yeah.
off your fears.
Yeah.
It's one of those, if Islam takes over the United States, every single woman will be in coverings, head to toe, except for your eyes. Otherwise you'll just get killed, is the thing. They will literally just start executing people live on camera, live on TV, live on the internet, wherever they choose to put it. And they're going to be, if you don't follow our laws, this would be you. And then they'll start lobbing heads off or slitting throats or just bullets in heads. And the problem with Dearborn, Michigan specifically, is like we saw at the start of this video, the guy speaking up there to their council, to their heads, their city council. That city council is all Muslims and all people who want this to happen. They don't care at all. They won't do anything to slow down or stop it because they're a part of the problem. The city, the government, police, everyone there is becoming a part of the problem, and they're doing it on purpose. Give it, I would say, less than 10 years, and because that city will go from a 50% Muslim police force to, I would take a guess and put it over 80, maybe even 90%. And the city council, the ruling council of the city, I would give that 10 years most before it's 100% Muslim ruled.
I think it's like what is it, Freddy Krueger? If you turn around and face him, no, he still kills you.
Whoops.
Still see them in my dreams.
Yeah, it's Islam Krueger.
How could I not see them in my dreams when I'm being woken up by the call to terrorism?
Yes, exactly. It's just,
Exactly.
It's not American, and it is less American. Just like I said in the change of mind. No, if I see a Hispanic person who doesn't speak English, I view them as less American. That's my opinion.
Of course.
And
American is to speak the language of our nation, which has been dubbed English. English is the language of our nation. If you do not speak and understand English, you should not be here.
if I see,
Or correction, If you do not speak and understand English and you're not trying to, you should not be here. If you're trying to, if you're trying your hardest in your day to day and you have like, you know, a super broken English and it's like you barely get words out, but you and another person through those few words, they can understand what you mean. If you are trying, I will at least be more accepting of you than those who are not trying a damn thing.
You see a community where I'm hearing the call to Islamic prayer that is less American to me than the sound of church bells. That's just my opinion. You guys comment below. If you disagree, that doesn't mean that we have to be an entirely 100% white nation, but we do have to acknowledge that other waves of immigrants in this country, they were mostly Western Christian nations. There's a very big difference.
Exactly.
And that's the culture I want. I don't want multiculturalism. I don't want a bunch of different cultures.
No.
I want one culture, Western Christian culture in the United States. I want that the predominant culture, and I want everyone else to assimilate. That's my opinion.
I agree with that opinion too, and I'll take it one step further. If we have the reason we need only one culture and we can't have a whole bunch of stuff all around, is what if you need something, you need assistance, you need help, something from your neighbor, but you don't know your neighbors because you don't speak the same languages. All of a sudden, maybe you're on the floor bleeding out and you're shouting for help, but your shouts for help aren't coming across as shouts for help to your neighbor. Maybe it's just, you know, they think you're shouting at someone in your house, and so they don't come out and help you at all, or maybe it's not part of their culture to come and help you and listen for that. And now all of a sudden you're dead on your floor while your neighbor is like over there, oh, my neighbor died. Shocking. Have a nice day.
Okay? When people try to tell you that, no, actually, all of these are equivalent, I disagree with the premise, but then their arguments also fall apart. And you can feel the tensions starting to rise, some of your old stomping grounds, Dearborn, and what we've been watching unfold there.
And yesterday you saw clashes between Christian protesters and Islam protesters as things got pretty wild, as a man even brought out bacon and slapped the Quran with bacon, and then he did try to light the Quran on fire.
That's ballsy.
I fully disagree with trying to light it on fire, although in the context, they pepper sprayed him heavily and assaulted him before he took that next step. So it was already a step in escalation to lead to that point.
And took the Quran.
And some people are saying that guy in the vest is a Fed or a plant.
He's not a Fed or a plant. He's just someone who loves our nation, who also happens to have been someone at January 6th.
Don't know. The rest of this is still relevant.
Yeah, they assaulted him there and then just started running off.
Girl hit.
And they did it, if I back it up here, they did it, and right there in the background is a freaking police officer who I bet you did absolutely nothing with the guy who just assaulted someone and then ran across the road in front of traffic. Like, any sane American cop would have stopped, gotten out of their car there, and gone and handcuffed the person who's running into traffic and being like, hey, you're not under arrest, you're detained. Why are you running into traffic? What just happened? Why are people chasing you? He would have, done things and gotten interviews and figure out what was going on. Probably round up with, handcuffs off, everybody's released, unless him here who got assaulted, right there carrying the banner, unless he said, hey, I'm going to press charges against him because he assaulted me, and then someone might wind up arrested.
Today, little girl hit.
Dearborn, I was pepper sprayed, maced by protesters.
Sir, why is he not welcome on a public sidewalk?
Get the camera out of my face. Get that camera out of my face, or I will take it from you. Okay.
Sure and then there's this guy who broke his camera, even though being in public, you're allowed to film.
With my camera.
Surprise!
You married 4 or 5 women, and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled from. We don't.
And they complained about the places they fled. All of them. They're like, oh no, our home country is so bad. It's terrible there. We have no freedom to do anything. And then they come here and they try to make this the same thing that they left. It's like, how retarded are you? Actually.
Respectfully, get the out of my country.
I know some disagreements with that guy. I don't know. There's some controversy surrounding him, but I don't have a problem with what he just said there, especially when you spend time in Dearborn. Now, and Pop Strider, when did that shift occur? Because you lived in Detroit, obviously 60s through 70s. When did Dearborn become?
Well, they're famous for a mayor named Orville Hubbard.
Okay.
Who saw all of this coming, and he tried to head it off at the pass. Some say he was a little racist, but strangely prophetic.
Klansman,
and it's exactly what he warned against, and that's where
you call that. Conservatives are called Nazis
Lebanese
nowadays.
And a lot of Christian Chaldeans had.
It's obvious that people just call you shit.
Like it is now.
Would you say it was
in the '80s? It was not like.
Not like
it wasn't even it wasn't even a demographic that you had to worry about.
So 90s and afterward.
Yeah, even more recently.
Yeah. Well, certainly as far as becoming a majority, and we'll get to. I tried to get a gay wedding cake baked in Dearborn
to that,
and had a fatwa on me for my troubles. That's back when people were saying Christians were completely intolerant. And there's make no mistake, a complete double standard from the left on Islam versus Christianity, and you see that from some people on the right today as well. Let me give you some.
They're going to have to confront it, and it's going to be too late.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let me highlight one thing. So people may say, like, hey, you shouldn't walk into an area that's predominantly Muslims and slap a Quran with bacon. And I understand their point. But here's the point. I agree that maybe you shouldn't do that, but it still is the United States of America. You can do that. You have the right to do that. I think the reaction proves the point.
Right.
Like he's doing something extreme to prove how extreme the problem really is.
Yes.
Like they will go to violence because of this.
Yes.
Right. So I think there's some.
If you suggest they're not peaceful, though.
And like I said, the slapping of the Quran with bacon and then the attempt to burn it were retaliatory actions. Like I said, I don't agree with the actions themselves, but in the context of retaliation, I kind of agree with it. I'm at like a 70-30 agree-disagree. I mostly would agree with him there. I probably would have done the same if it being in his shoes. You just pepper sprayed me. I'm angry. You've angered me. You've put this hot thing in my face that's burning my eyeballs, and you've assaulted my face, so I'm going to assault your religion.
Kill your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let me give you
today
some.
It's fair. Quran. Tomorrow, the president's being sworn in with one.
Right. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And it's very different from other religions because it's a prescription of law as well. It's not just
And yeah, that's why when, you go to court, you put your hand on the Bible. When you're sworn in as president, your hand on the Bible. Your hand is on the Bible for so many things in America because we are a Christian nation.
A description. Right, it is a legal prescription in a way that you don't see with other religions.
A political prescription.
Yes. And let me give you some fast facts that are indisputable on Islam. Okay, so Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, and they use that though, and they tout that as a win. It's not because of conversion.
It's not a win.
Birth, and that's part of their strategies. Like the man said, outbreed infidels. So from 2010 to 2020, we went from on planet Earth 1.7 billion to 2 billion. That's a 20% increase. In North America, we went from 3.8 million to 5.9. That's a 52% increase.
Yeah.
Let me give you a specific example where it's a real hotbed right now. Texas, from 2010 to 25, the number of mosques increased by 100%, about 160 to 330.
Jeez.
And there are people out there on both the left and the right saying, you shouldn't worry because actually Islam.
Yeah, I got my favorite one here. Consequences when you leave Islam. Consequences for leaving Islam vary widely from severe punishments like death in some countries to social and familial consequences like ostracism and isolation in Western contexts. Oh, that sounds great. In countries with Sharia law, when you leave Islam, you could have the death penalty. You could be imprisoned. You could get fined or be flogged, or other varying penalties. In Western societies, well, actually, let's dive deeper into the AI mode and get this one here, because it's the best one, actually. Actually, we're gonna... Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I don't want this video to be any longer than it already is getting.
Islam it's actually completely compatible with the West, and you've just been lied to by.
It is not compatible in any way, shape, or
all
form.
Historical documents available to us right now. It's time for Claim Truth.
Yeah, the Western world with, freedom of religion. You may practice your religion. You may practice whatever one you want. However, you're not going to force everyone to choose your religion. Yes, there are Christians who will try to go out into other countries and spread the Bible to other nations. There's a famous story of a guy who tried to take a Bible into one of the uncontacted tribes, and the uncontacted tribe fucking murdered him. Guess who I agree with in this situation? Not the guy who's carrying the Bible, actually. It's the tribe. The tribe has said, we don't want you here, so get the fuck out. In America, we want freedom of religion, not forced religion. So if you are wanting to force your religion on us, get the fuck out.
All right, here's a claim that you are going to hear. Reference is available, link in the description. Yes, that was a Mario sound. That the founders of this country were big fans of Islam and inspired by it.
Founding fathers, and when they put the Constitution together, they got much of the Sharia teaching from
they didn't.
the Quran, from Islam.
The Sharia itself, again, is a legal dispensation. It comes after the teachings of Jesus, which come after the teachings of Moses, etc. So every prophet was either given a Sharia, a revealed law from God, or they themselves simply followed or reinforced or renewed the Sharia of a previous prophet. So in that sense, when we think of the Sharia, it's a really nothing more than a continuation of what had been taught by previous prophets. Right?
Where did they even invent that map that just scrolled by it? What?
Against the Sharia law.
It started with Adam and ended with Muhammad. Like, what?
So there's also an article accessible in the was that the right clip there? Did he mention the founding fathers in the first part of that clip?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, because it went on pretty long and it was nonsensical.
I think he was talking
Nonsensical,
about Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Maybe John Hancock.
There's an article that you can access that they use to substantiate at the Library of Congress, which reads, the founders of this nation explicitly included Islam in their vision of the future of the Republic. Freedom of religion as they conceived it encompassed it. Far from fearing Islam, the founders would have incorporated it into the fabric of American life. Here's the truth. The founders supported Christianity almost exclusively and did not revere Islam at all. Now, there are different iterations of some of our texts that people went through, and they thought, well, we can't necessarily get this through, but let me actually give you some historical context here. According to one of America's most influential Supreme Court justices, Joseph Story, they wrote, the real object of the First Amendment was not to countenance, much less advance Mohammedanism, which is what they used to call Islam. Right? Mohammedanism, you might read that quite a bit, or Judaism, or infidelity by prostrating Christianity, but to exclude all rivalry among Christian sects and to prevent any national ecclesiastical establishment which should give to a hierarchy the exclusive patronage of the national government. So very much like the private letters from Jefferson to the Danbury Baptists, it was about denominations of Christianity not serving to fracture us as a nation. But they even, just to be clear, they mention Islam, and they also mention Judaism as far as the founders, as far as what is important, what we are explicitly meaning to include here. George Mason wrote in the Virginia Declaration of Rights, that religion, or the duty which we owe to our Creator, and the manner of discharging it can be directed only by reason and conviction, not by force or violence, and therefore all men are equally entitled to the free exercise of religion according to the dictates of conscience, and that it is the mutual duty of all to practice Christian forbearance, love, and charity towards each other. You can read not only the founding documents, but you can read auxiliary documents that show there was a great concern of a free society not being able to exist without the uniting values of Christianity. And even the founders, they were even hesitant, and this is not a slight, hesitant toward including Catholics because of what they believed would be a higher allegiance to the Vatican.
Exactly.
The Pope. They were very, very adamant about kind of requiring Protestantism to be the basis and allegiance to the United States first. I will tell you this, that's not possible with Islam. You have to be loyal, you have to pledge allegiance to Sharia law, to the ways of the Quran above.
Exactly, and that is extremely anti-American if you look at it in the just overbroad sense. In entangling your religion into your government, which is exactly what Islam does, is fully against what the United States does. That's why we have the separation of church and state. It's why we don't put them together and use every single thing and go, and all of a sudden you get something popping up in the Supreme Court like gay marriage, for example. I know that one popped back in to potentially get repealed. I'm very glad it didn't. I think there's that would have created a much worse division than what is already done in the U.S. Along with, honestly, if you're an adult and you like the same person, as you like a guy and you're a guy, marry the guy. If you're a girl and you like a girl, marry the girl. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever. However, if all of a sudden they went to the Supreme Court with that issue of gay marriage initially, and the Supreme Court just went, let me go get a Bible and see if the Bible says we should allow this or not. It says no, so no. And then they would have smacked that down, and they would have slapped down a ton of other things. Abortion would be fully banned across the United States if that were also true. And that's not. There's so much that, due to separation of church and state, the U.S. is a much better nation to live in.
That of this country, which is the Constitution, and the two are irreconcilable.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go back to the original kind of assertion about the prophets just passing down this law really quickly, because I want to make sure that everybody understands, like, you can have these kernels of truth, and I said, haha, there's the problem, because you listed Jesus and said prophet. That's not true.
That's right.
Right. So you can say these prophets passed this stuff down, and these were teachings that were given to the people, and that's what kind of formed some of their laws, and they wrote these things down in the Bible, and that's what we have to go back to. But that essentially stops at Jesus, and then you have people coming later that kind of tell you, okay, here's what Jesus was saying during this time. Here's how we set life up as Christians. I walked with Jesus. I talked with Jesus. Or in Paul's case, he was converted by Christ, essentially, after being a persecutor of the church. You can't then go on and say, and all of these other people wrote stuff. And that all applies as well, right? And like Stephen said, that is not a prescription for just a church that you go to on Sunday and something that you espouse, that you believe. It is a cultural, every fabric of your being in society determines everything that you do kind of existence in these countries. That is not compatible with the United States of America, and it never will be.
And I want to go back to the point where they say, well, Jesus was a prophet. Let me ask you, who was Jesus?
Jesus was the Son of God.
Son of God.
Okay, there you go. Right?
He's not a prophet.
So they did not go, no, he's just a prophet.
He's the Son of God.
Muhammad was not a prophet. They say, well, Jesus was not Son of God. Okay. That's what they write all the time. It's what they say.
Yeah.
Muhammad was not a prophet.
Muhammad was not a prophet.
Who do you think's going to get in hotter water?
Right.
For the statement.
100%.
Muhammad was not a prophet.
Fatwa.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
As a matter of fact, the Bible says Muhammad was a false prophet.
Well, Jesus claimed to be God. Big difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I agree. I think they did have Islam in mind, the founders. They did when they gave men leather collars to protect themselves from having their throats slit on our ships.
Yeah. Actually, well, decapitations, because the rapiers they used.
It's always been a faith that came by the sword and now by birthright.
Yep.
But back then, it came by the sword. Hey, guys, you might want to put a collar on first.
Yeah, exactly.
When you sail in this area.
I like these, what do we call these? Dickies?
Very stylish, but they kept your neck from being
Here's
removed.
the next claim you're going to hear, and this is because they're hoping that we progress to these next steps, which are much more concerning. You're just being paranoid about Sharia law. It's not like a thing.
You know what Sharia law actually means. Some people think
I do not understand how any woman can go talk about Sharia law in a positive manner, because if they are talking about it in a positive manner, I'm already on the side they don't know what they're talking about. Because Sharia law would have you covered head to toe, except for your freaking eyeballs and everything, and you wouldn't be able to do anything without a man.
that Sharia law is a system-based
And you would be married off at fucking 6 years old.
punishment, oppression, and politics.
Yeah,
But the
she's
truth
not
is,
following
it's just a system
her religion
built to
if she is.
protect us. So please,
Women?
don't be afraid of the word Sharia or the religion of Islam. Be afraid of a world without divine justice.
Where's your coverings, honey?
What does she mean by divine justice?
Why is she? Why is this woman talking to me in public? She should have coverings on. Her. That's what Islam would say about her video right there. Why is she speaking in public? Where is her man to escort her? And where are her coverings? She would be 100% executed for making that video.
Down in the city square?
Yeah. I don't think she knows exactly what that looks like. This is the problem with just following TikTok trends. With
Exactly.
places. in truth. Let's get to the truth. Notable Islamists, as well as most of the followers, if pressed, will flat out tell you that they want Sharia in the West.
Now it's getting through Congress. So before it was by the sword, now it's getting themselves into parliament and then making laws that act as the sword, the Islamophobia law in Canada, M103.
Yeah.
Muslim Brotherhood.
Muslim Brotherhood, a terrorist organization.
Ballot or bullet, nothing in between. I used to say that democracy is haram. Now I say participation in democracy is our jihad. That's our jihad. We're going to fight not through the bullets, but the ballots.
Going to the ballot and voting is now an obligatory action.
This is why we need voter ID in America. These guys are taking our nation right from us in front of our eyes.
And it is a jihad that is now needs to be done because this is our modern jihad. You can elect a person who wants the Sharia.
Because in the United States, what we do know is that in the past election, just this last election, there have been...
Honey, you're not covered up enough. Your mouth and nose is uncovered and your forehead's uncovered. Cover your whole face except your eyes, honey.
over 800 Muslim candidates running
like,
for office.
That's what it would
end up with about 50 members of Congress in the next 6 years. That's really the essence of dismantling the system of injustice.
This is a turning point in society. If we don't find and change now, we will have nations that fall to Islam.
Is to replace it with the people who represent the Prophet ﷺ.
And there's even World War II veterans who are watching what's going on across Europe, across America, in different little cities, pockets here and there. And they're like, was what I fought for worth it? Should I have let the Nazis just take over the entire world? Because would they have fought against the Islam, you know, the rise of Islam harder than we are? Or would Islam have taken them over too? Would it have mattered?
How many more examples do you need? And I know some people out there will say, well, that's just propaganda, actually. And I've heard this too. It comes from the Jews because actually Islam and Christians have coexisted. No, you're hearing it from them yourselves. I also know people will say, before I get to Sharia courts, well, this also happens in Jewish communities and synagogues where they sort of conduct their own courts. That's absolutely true. We know that that's true. But they would take whatever their sort of internal judgments, rulings, and they could bring it to an actual court and say, this is in line with the law of the United States. It's not like Sharia courts where, for example, corporal punishment can be ordered, right? In a Sharia court, and you can bring up Collage B3. Polygamous marriages can be granted. Due process can be completely ignored. Custody, divorce laws completely disregarded. Same thing for infidelity. Sometimes you see it when people are dealing with rape cases internally. It is not the same thing. The laws flagrantly disregard and are antithetical to the laws of the United States. They cannot coexist. It's not possible. And this week, Governor Greg Abbott, he's a wheelchair guy, actually revealed that there are 2 Sharia courts already operating in Dallas.
Well, yeah, and they need to not. He needs to fix that. That's in his own state. He needs to go adjust that now.
I did tell the public, as well as local law enforcement, that there actually are Sharia courts that are operating in Dallas. And they are trying to impose Sharia law. And I pointed out to local prosecutors, both in Dallas County as well as in Collin County, as well as to the Attorney General, as well as to the Texas Department of Public Safety, that what they are doing with these Sharia courts that we have identified in the letter that I issued today, they are in violation of Texas law, including violation of Texas penal codes. And so what they're doing in part could be considered a crime, but also clearly a violation of the Texas Constitution and our statutes that prohibit Sharia law in the state of Texas.
Yeah. And,
you know, I have a thought that will have to branch off into its own video, but is the United States too big? Is it too big to be governed under the same rule, or should the nation have to get like split off a little bit, bisected, and you put, you know, you have to move everybody who's, you know, Islam into this little tiny area? Because we could make little Islam real. in the corner of the U.S.
It's really hard to track how many Sharia courts exist because, I don't know if you know this, a lot of them are off the books by design.
Yeah.
But you can go back to old shows when this show was on terrestrial radio in 2014, 2015, where we had a guest call in. There was a regular female guest from Sterling Heights, Michigan, who she was a Westerner. She was a white American, had a rough upbringing, married a Muslim, and he just did the say divorce 3 times, left, took the kids. She didn't see them again until she had to hire a PI, track them down, where she was kind of a not without my daughter situation. She was a regular guest on the show, and we used to go through that a lot. So this is something that's coming for you. It's something that's already here.
Yeah.
And don't believe people who tell you that's just propaganda. It is a real thing. It's a prescription.
Right. And
don't marry one, too.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, don't marry into Islam.
Just to
Do not
like,
do
some
that.
of the wordplay that's going on here.
Ladies, if you're out there and you're dating, find out the religion of the guy before you marry him. Find out if he's Muslim, and if he is, turn around and fucking run.
Dismantling the systems of injustice. You're going to see them talk about that a lot because it's easy to go, I want to be on the side of justice, right?
Yes.
So you said divine justice, a world without divine justice. Understand when they say dismantling the systems of injustice, that means dismantling and destroying Western culture, period.
Exactly.
That's all they're really referring to, but they're trying to like put it into something that maybe you'll grab a hold of instead of going, hey, I've got to change the entire way of life, and women can just be left in a burning building because they don't have enough headscarves to kind of run out, and the morality police won't let them come out. Like those kinds of stories exist, guys, for a reason. So let's not import
And
that.
I get that it's tempting to say, well, Islam isn't all wrong because their women are a little less lippy. I get it. Where now people are like, you know what? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if you're a man and you want just control over a bunch of women, yeah, become a Muslim. But there's a whole bunch of other caveats that go with that. You don't get to be drinking anymore. You don't get to enjoy bacon anymore. There's other things you can't have because they're considered haram and not allowed.
We kind of made some mistakes because you think you have a choice between feminism or Islam. That's not true. There's been a Christian approach to male-female dynamics for a very long time. We've abandoned them. The solution is not to say, you know what, Islam is better than the secularism we have. The solution is to say, hey, let's go back to the intention of the founding, which is a distinctly Christian Western society. Also, really quickly, Josh, where are you going to be performing here? I forgot.
Springfield, Missouri on December 20th at the Springfield Comedy Club.
December 20th, Springfield Comedy Club. Very nice. All right. This next one, and I've been talking about this for a very long time. It's one of the first videos I ever uploaded to YouTube, 2008, something like that. The claim, and it's recycled. You will hear that Islam, don't believe the propaganda. It's peaceful. You got nothing to worry about with the thing.
If Islam
is not
if Islam
peaceful.
is what is motivating these people,
It is.
and Islam is therefore not a religion of peace, a religion of war,
It
then
isn't.
ask yourself this question: why aren't the rest of us doing it?
Many do.
Trust those Muslims who you know, who you've met, who you hear, who don't
Those are
believe in
bad
violence,
Muslims.
who do want you to hear the peaceful message of the Quran as they believe it to be taught to
As
the
they
majority
believe
of
it.
Muslims.
There's a peaceful message in the Quran? I haven't found it yet.
Well, I'll believe the about 198 million Muslims on earth right now who say that they believe violence is justified, either often or somewhat justified to preserve Islam. Here's the thing, the propaganda is more pervasive now because even...
However, I will take that on the other half. I bet you about the same amount of Christians would say, yes, violence is okay to preserve Christianity. Like, if Christianity was in threat of being eliminated from the earth, I'm sure there are tons and tons of Christians who would stand up and fight for the Crusades again. We would have another round, and it would end very violently for anybody who's not a Christian. I 100% understand the both sides thing. However, Christianity, you can say, hey, I'm not a Christian, I don't believe. And Christians will just be, they might, poke at you a little and be like, hey, but, you could. But they're not going to be like, okay, you don't believe? Off with your head.
Google's Gemini, the AI, says, when you ask it, no, Islam does not encourage the indiscriminate killing of people. Islamic texts and the majority of Muslim scholars emphasize the sanctity of human life and permit the use of force only in specific regulated contexts.
Conversions.
Yeah.
So not indiscriminate.
Right.
It's discriminate.
And this is the problem.
Discriminate violence.
A lot of people run a search. They see this. They go, well, good enough for me. Here's the truth. You probably wish that you were as passionate about anything as Islam is about killing. Islam as a religion, I mean, it loves
They love
it
killing.
calls for it. Like I just said, 198 million Muslims worldwide. support the use of violence against civilian targets to defend Islam. But that...
Whoa. Back that up. Just 1% of U.S. Muslims and a median of 3% of Muslims worldwide say suicide bombings and other violence against civilian targets are often justified. And while 7% of U.S. Muslims and 8% global say such attacks are sometimes justified to defend Islam. I do not think it would get to any level of Christianity attacking civilian targets. Christianity would specifically target the Muslims themselves, their places of worship, they would literally try to specifically target only Muslims, while Muslims will target anybody who's not a Muslim.
But that may not be enough. You say, that's just a Pew Research poll. It's not a big enough sample size. What's a couple 100 million?
What's a couple 100 million?
Let's go to the holiest text. Let's go to the founding text. Let's go to the Quran. Let's go to Hadith. Let me read these for you. Surah Tawbah, Ayah 29 says, fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, nor comply with what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth from among those who were given the scripture. 1, until they pay the tax. 2, willingly submit or fully humbled. What does that mean? You may not understand this if you're not aware. Actually, Islam has a system of law for people who don't convert. You have to pay extra taxes. You have a different curfew. You think that your civil rights are being violated because a tranny can't box in this country? Do you understand if you're not Muslim? Under Islamic rule, you are not a human being with the same rights as a Muslim.
Exactly.
They may say, let's be nice to them. They still treat you as subhuman. Let's go to Hadith.
And if all of a sudden you become the minority in your circle there, they probably will just kill you outright if you don't convert. And all of a sudden, they're the majority, you're dead.
It's not big on transitioning.
Not that huge on it, no.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hadith. This is it Sahih Muslim?
Yeah.
If they refuse to accept Islam, demand from them the jizya. If they agree to pay, accept it from them and hold off your hands. If they refuse to pay the tax, seek Allah's help and fight them. Again,
precisely.
This is why there is Sharia law. People say, well, Hadith is not Quran. Look to any Islamic country, how they govern themselves. If you are not Muslim, you are treated as a second-class citizen. Does this read as some kind of an interpretation, or does this read as a very specific prescription, including a tax code?
Right. By the way, just so you know, one day there is no option for the tax.
Right.
Yeah.
They lure you. Okay, we just have to pay a tax. It's totally.
Yeah, one day they will come to collect your tax. You'll have your money ready at the door, and instead of showing up with a handout, it'll be a gun in their hand, and they'll say, hey, we don't want your money. You convert today or you die. Or they might not even give you that convert today. They might just say, all right, that's enough. You die.
Fine, everybody.
And then they'll just take all your
one
shit.
Day, does the tax go away? What then?
Sounds benign enough.
The tax becomes your blood.
Yes.
To be clear. Let's read again from Hadith. From Sahih al-Bukhari. It says, the hour will not be established until you fight with the Jews. And that means fight the Jews. It doesn't mean like fight hand in hand, brother.
Oh, side by side?
Yes, this band of
Not
brother
side by
with the
side.
Jews. No. Because it's also very poorly written. The hour will not be established.
Yeah, the Quran seems to be written by someone who is so afraid of Jews and Christianity or anything that's not Islam. It just makes it sounds afraid, actually. Like, why would you want to join this religion? Your book makes you sound like a bitch.
Until you fight with the Jews, and the stone behind which a Jew will be hiding will say, "O Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me, so kill him." That seems pretty cut and dry.
That could be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
It could be, maybe they're talking about, metaphorical.
Figuratively.
Rock.
Also, a gross presumption that Jews are far less capable at a game of hide and seek than they are. They have a lot of experience.
They really do.
They're not just going to hide behind a rock.
Look at a tunnel.
Good enough for me. There's a stone here. He'll never find me here.
This stone will never rat us out. It's a good stone.
It's a good stone.
This book should have said, don't waste your time looking behind rocks. Check the attic.
Yeah, exactly. Check
the old tunnels.
The jewelry store will yell out, "The Jew is in here!"
I'm not back here.
I'm not back here. What?
Don't look
What?
at me.
I should have hid behind the boulder.
That's not my nose poking out. That's 48th Street.
Even I know some people say he was the bad guy in World War II. I don't think so. I think he's imperfect, but I side with him over Hitler. Winston Churchill said, "How dreadful are the curses which Mohammedanism lays on its votaries. Individual Muslims may show splendid qualities, but the influence of the religion paralyzes the social development of those who follow it. No stronger retrograde force exists in this world." That's what he said. And he had to deal with it. Too. I don't know if you know this too. A lot of the Muslim nations allied with Hitler, the Nazis.
Wow.
No surprise there.
No, I thought they just let him.
Not a
go into
shock.
The Middle East and Northern Africa.
Yeah, they were. They were pretty pro. Like, oh wait, someone else is finally on our side with the Jews. Oh, good.
What? You want to kill the Jews too? Here's our party. Let's take us into battle.
Wow. Never saw that coming.
The enemy of the Jew is my friend, and
his mustache is weird, but I like.
Oh, yes.
Let's go. By the way, because people will often point to
This
a
little
moderate
mustache
Islamic
man.
country.
He is
the
big
thing.
guy,
That always
but he
shifts.
is
Iran in the 70s.
He is right.
Or you
The
go
Jews.
to, Turkey not that long ago was considered, it was developing, it was going to be more moderate. It really just depends on the decade, and it always sort of just swings back and forth. But this week, President Trump met with Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who is viewed generally as more progressive in the Islamic world. So let's not use the Quran. Let's not use Muhammad. They're extremists. They're not representative of all Muslims, the founding documents and the founder himself. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. It's more moderate. Well, I don't know if you know this.
Saudi Arabia's got modern day slavery.
Christianity in their country.
Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia. Great. They banned certain things. What did they ban?
You are forbidden to leave Islam, and it is punishable by death. So in Saudi Arabia,
No. You have to be Muslim in Saudi Arabia. You have to be. Is that why every American that visits gets the traditional garb there the moment they get off the plane, basically? They land and are immediately thrown into those outfits because they're put on camera and they're in front of people and they're showing their audience a little better way of Muslim? Well, maybe. However, the modern day slavery aspect there, where they go to their neighboring countries and they go, "Hey, you want to come live in this great country of mine? I got a place for you to stay. You come on down." And they come on over. And then you get there and they take your passport, they put you in a place and they say, "Hey, we got a job for you. You're going to work it 12 hours a day, 7 days a week until you pay off your debt." And you're like, "Oh, great. Well, how much is my debt?" "It's this amount." "How much do I get paid?" This amount. But I just did the math. That amount won't allow me to buy food, survive, and pay off all my debt. Ever. That sucks to be you. Goodbye. Enjoy your life.
Today, if you were born into a Muslim family, raised, and then you make the decision for Christ, which we kind of take for granted here in the United States, they can execute you. That's moderate Islam.
You had it coming.
In practice today. And it really is disconcerting. I will tell you, I'm not budging on this one. It has been disconcerting for a long time. It still is. Islam is incompatible with the West. That does not mean that there are not great patriotic Muslims here in the United States who sort of pick and choose from.
If you choose to assimilate and join the U.S., allowing, maybe not following the values of the Bible and Christianity, but at least allowing those values to be your governing body. If you can be here and allow that, you're fine. But the majority cannot, it seems.
From their holy texts, and it will always be a problem. And we can't turn a blind eye to it because they're becoming far more active and hoping that you do just that. That's why I have been on this since the very first installments on YouTube with a blue bedsheet, and actually even at one point, because no one wanted to take part, Gerald had brass balls. You dressed up as my 6-year-old wife, Aisha. That's right. We put you in a burqa, and then the giant man hands.
What's really important is getting the picture and the writing. So it's going to be me and Benny. Well, you have pictures there.
No, on the machine, you have to improve it.
But just the writing, you don't need the machine. You can do the writing. Ben loves Stephen forever.
Yeah, you can.
Groom and groom.
Yeah.
You can do that.
No, this one no.
And so I've been reading this book lately called
the Quran, and it's been
No, oh.
Wait, did Muhammad beat his wife? The spirit of
How did I never see any of this? I mean, I was a kid still for half of it, but
let's give this man a beard. There we go. Nice beard for Muhammad. It protect your face in the sandstorms. Beard's important to have. And there we go. Give him some facial features. See little details. Let's just draw him.
You got painting with Bob Crowder here.
Little wife. Favorite one was Aisha, little 6-year-old wife. Right there. We'll put her in the hijab, not the full burqa. Muhammad actually had several wives. Even though I know that I can physically portray Jesus as much as I want without any fear of violent repercussions whatsoever, I am aware that in the Muslim faith, not believing in free speech does not allow for the same portrayals of Muhammad.
I have puppies in back.
Yeah.
It's a good video.
It's awesome.
And that kid is older than Muhammad, his wife, or his choice for a wife.
Yeah.
I think if you're a man voluntarily joining Islam and you are not born into it, you are a pedophile who is just trying to legally find a child to marry and have sex with. If you are a woman, you're retarded. That's what it'll bung down to in a couple sentences of what I believe for voluntarily joining Islam.
Ask me why a lot of people want to kill me.
I didn't say it was like a helpful video for you.
No, not at all.
I just said it's a good video.
Yeah.
So we're gonna like circulate it on social.
Yeah, sure.
Is that like,
yeah, let's do it.
Islam's version of the Veggie Tales that you just did?
I mean, pretty much.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Islam's version of
And I
Veggie
actually,
Tales.
Adam, I wanted to find an actual 9-year-old because that was the defense, right? People used to say, well, he married a 6-year-old. And they would say, well, no. To be fair, he only consummated when she was 9. Before that, he just humped her thighs. I'm like, okay, let's show a 9-year-old. Let's be as generous as possible. It's not the same where people say, oh, well, Mary was a lot younger than Joseph.
I mean, they could have swapped 9-year-old out for 13-year-old, and it still wouldn't be very good. They could swap 13, or swap 9 for 15, and it still wouldn't be very good.
Mary had gone through puberty, and Joseph was not 60 or whatever it is. Joseph was older, sure, but there's a very big difference between a 14, 15-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Also, Joseph is not the one who gave her Jesus.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true. He's not
according to the text.
Yep.
Very true.
A little bit.
By the way, that little Aisha is now graduating from A&M.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's true.
Right. It's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. She's an Aggie. Is that right?
Yes, right.
Oh, nailed it.
Wow. I don't know. Some people out there be like, Muhammad should have stoned her. People get so, go UT! Yeah, when I was doing that Oklahoma U, they were like, do this. And I was like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to. You find it fun, but then I'll get people who'll be pissed off that I do this. I find out that means like down with UT. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think that means one in the stink and one in the stink.
Is that what it means? That's just, well, then why even do this?
Just two stinks.
Yeah. Well, in San Francisco, that's this. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing.
All right. That is the end of this video. If you want more Crowder, go find him on Rumble or on his own channel, Steven Crowder, or Crowder Bits, I believe is his other one. And anyway, and if you liked it, slap a like if you're still hanging around with us here. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And have a wonderful day. I will see you later.